Hi friends, welcome back. Today, we are going to be talking about getting a late start in the garden and how it is not too late to get your garden in. If you've been with us a while, you noticed that the past month or so we've been MIA a little bit. It has been an incredibly busy season for us. The girls have had all sorts of end of the school year activities. We've had camps. Lance and I celebrated our 20th anniversary and we went on a trip for that, but we are back and we are ready to dig in and spend some time with y'all. But with all that going on, that means that we really haven't been outside starting the garden. We are only just now this week getting a start to our garden. We're gonna do all container garden this year, but I wanna encourage you. If you haven't started your garden, it is not too late. If you got a disastrous start, because lots of people around here have, it has rained an incredible amount. We haven't even been able to hardly do anything outside because it's like swimming in a swamp right now. And that's been really hard on people's gardens. But I'm gonna encourage you, if it has been hard on your garden, it's okay to put more seeds in the ground. There is still time. The garden centers sometimes would have us believe that you can't, if you don't get a head start and you don't get your stuff in the ground at March, then you're missing out, because a lot of times by now, things are sold out, things are spent, and it's really hard. If you're looking at like Home Depot to know when to plant, it kind of can skew your perspective. But I want to give you two things to really think about when you're thinking about, is it too late to plant my garden? And the number one thing is, how many days are left in your growing season? For us, we have over 120 days left in our growing season here. Our first frost is usually at the end of October, but even though sometimes the first frost hits at the end of October, sometimes we're able to cover and push things even past that. So really, our growing season is incredibly long. And honestly, there are a lot of things that'll grow in 50 to 80 days that without a problem. Most of the things you'll grow in your garden. There are a couple caveats to that, which are peppers and tomatoes that take a little longer. So the first thing you want to look at is seeds that take less than the amount of time left in your growing season. Super duper easy way to find out how long is left in your growing season. Go to Google and type in, how many days left in my growing season? Here's my zip code. And Google will just tell you, you have blah, blah, blah days left in your growing season. The second consideration, and this really is an important one too, is the temperature. Now here in Oklahoma, it's about to get hot. We've had pretty cool weather because it has rained so much, but in July, we typically push 100, sometimes like 110, 115. So we want things that are gonna do well in the heat. And so that's the other consideration that you wanna pay attention to. Another little hint, if you are trying to figure out things that you have that can grow in your amount of time and in the growing season you're in, as hot as it is, ChatGPT is great for that. If you've got a seed packet and you're like, okay, I want to know if this zucchini is right for me, you can type in, okay, what about a black beauty zucchini? I have this many days in my growing season and I live in this zone. What about the temperature here? And ChatGPT can actually give you a really good rundown of, it might be a little too hot for that, or this thrives in the heat. So those are great ways to really work out whether or not you can still grow something. But today I wanna walk you through our plan. We are gonna be getting all of this into the Greenstalks in the next week or so, and hopefully have a thriving garden still yet. We have a lot of time. We have 6 Greenstalks. My parents had 3 and they're not using them this year. They just traveled too much, so they gave us their other 3. So we have 3 that are the original Greenstalks and 3 that are the leaves. And the originals have 5 deep tiers and they each have 6 pockets. And the leaves have 7 shallower tiers and they've got 6 pockets also. So we have a lot of growing space, even though we're not using that many square feet. The first thing that we're gonna do is, I love having an entire green stalk of peppers. They always do well in green stalks, especially if every month or so you fertilize them, and they just do wonderfully. And I was a little concerned because I knew Home Depot still had peppers, but The Home Depot peppers are like $5 a pepper, and that was gonna be really cost prohibitive. I wasn't gonna be able to plant an entire green stalk with 30 peppers because we just couldn't afford to. However, on our way home today, I stopped by a local nursery that we have, and they happened to be clearancing out their pepper plants, and they were like 75 cents each. So it's gonna make it way cheap to fill the whole thing with peppers. So I got 30 pepper plants, and I am so very excited, which again, here is another benefit to starting late in the season, is because a lot of times you can wait for the good sales. The nurseries will have, I know that the Amish greenhouse down the road this past weekend put everything on 75% off sale. Baumgar's down the road last week put everything 75% off sale. This other greenhouse that we have, 50% off all the vegetables. So it really is a great way to not be buying at the peak of demand. And they're desperate sometimes to stop watering these things and give them to you. So it's actually a great time. And you can see these plants are still in great shape. I wasn't sure what I would find, but these are all really great plants. Another really surprising place you can get plants for really inexpensive is Azure Standard. If you order from Azure Standard, check out their fresh plants. And if you haven't ordered from Azure Standard, it's a bulk food place, but they will send you plants, and it is incredible. It's a once a month, like you order and then you go pick up at a drop location. I've got lots of videos on Azure Standard you can check out, but they have amazing, healthy plants for very inexpensive. So here are the peppers I got. They had 4 jalapeno peppers left, so I've got these jalapenos to plant. I wasn't sure what this was. I had a little 6-pack of these things called mucho nacho peppers, but they looked like they were in healthy and in good shape. It turns out these are just a variety of jalapeno pepper. I think they're just a little less hot, and they're really prolific. So these peppers are gonna do great. And then I have 6 bell peppers, and we use bell peppers all the time for everything. Like, we will eat our weight in bell peppers. 6 sweet banana peppers. My husband loves banana peppers. We enjoy putting them on pizza and things. Not me, because I'm lactose intolerant, but he loves them on pizza. If you've been with us a while, you know I cannot live without my cayenne pepper. I'm from South Louisiana. We eat our weight in cayenne. So I have 6 of these cayenne peppers, and I have these in 6s because we have 6 tiers around, right? And so I'm gonna put 1 type of pepper in each round. Then, because there were only 4 jalapenos, I also found these shishito peppers. These peppers are great grilling peppers. Like, they will grow really big and delicious. So I'm very excited about these. It looks like they need a little bit of nitrogen. They just have been in the pots a little too long, but I think that these should be easy to bring back. And sometimes you can find really good deals like that. If you're buying things on clearance, you can afford to take chances and buy 25-cent plants or 50-cent plants and just try to bring them back to life. And a lot of times it'll work because all they need is a little water, a little care, or maybe a little fertilizer. Or most of the time, if they're showing signs of stress, it's just because they're outgrowing their container. The other thing that we are going to put in the pepper green stalk is we're going to put underneath the peppers, we're going to put things like, I've got some marigolds and nasturtiums and cinnamon basil. These are all great companion plants for peppers. They don't sap too many of the nutrients, but they also act as a barrier for bugs. And so we'll just mix these in and around. The basil, actually, this is kind of a fun fact. The basil can kind of flavor the peppers a little bit. So that'll be interesting. Anyway, so that is what is gonna go in our first green stalk, those peppers, and then we have some companion flowers to go in there. And all of these flowers, the nasturtiums, the marigolds, the basil, they all do great in heat. And obviously peppers just love heat. It is where they thrive. The next green stalk I have is another one that is 5 tiers tall, and it's got the deep pockets. So it's the original. And this is gonna be my squash and okra Greenstalk. It's a little more difficult to grow full-size squash in the Greenstalk. You can if you grow it on the bottom tier and you take really good extra care of it and you fertilize it a lot. But what I have found are these little varieties like the green griller squash and the grenade squash. They do amazing in the Greenstalk. So I'm gonna do green griller squash, grenade squash, yellow scallop squash, which are, I haven't ever tried these, but they're these tiny little yellow scallops, and then the white scallop squash. And we're gonna try these. And then also I'm gonna put some Thai basil around in some of the opposite pockets. And along the bottom, I am gonna do some vines that are gonna hang out and kind of spread around on these bottom tiers. I'm gonna do the small Wonder Spaghetti squashes. They're teeny tiny, and then some sugar pie pumpkins. And we will see how those do. We're gonna mulch the area, so these should be fine, just trailing out and then setting on the mulch. But it'll be a grand, fun experiment, so we will see. And the other thing that I mentioned that I'm putting in this one, I don't have the seeds yet, they should come in the mail tomorrow. It's Cajun Jewel okra. There's two types of okra that does really well in the Greenstalk. There's Cajun Jewel and there's Baby Bubba, and it is short little bitty okras, and they do wonderfully well in the Greenstalk because they are compact, and I've had really good luck with Baby Bubba. This time I'm trying something new with Cajun Jewel, but I have seen a lot of people have really good luck. So we will be doing that as well on one of the tiers. And by the way, if you're wondering about these sheets, these are Greenstalk planners, and they have like each tier and a little space, and you can put on them what is in each spot. I'll link to this in the description for this video because I think this is super duper helpful. I love to have things written down. You know that I absolutely love seed time, and I always do things digitally, and seed time helps me know when to plant and all those things. But I love to also actually have a physical written record. I'm old-fashioned like that. I like both. I like the digital technology, and I love the freedom it gives you, but I also love to have like, okay, what's here? This is the second tier. What is in this? All right, this next one, I have one more of the originals that have the 5 tiers in the deep pockets. And I have a bunch of, this one is just a hodgepodge of all sorts of different things, and I'm super excited. So on the bottom tier, we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the squash one, where we had the pumpkins trailing out. I've got midget cantaloupes that we're gonna be putting, these are from M.I. Gardner, and I haven't tried these yet, and I'm excited to try them. And then your classic sugar baby watermelon. I also have basil. I've got basil in a lot of these. Basil is a great companion plant. Basil is also one of those plants that is just great to have around, to season, to harvest, and then you can make pesto. I can link the video where we are preserving pesto. Michaela and I preserve pesto in little cubes, and it is delicious. And then you can have that fresh basil-y taste all year round. It's wonderful. All right, so we've got Swiss chard also. I did in here some hardy greens that I'm hoping will do well in the heat. Because here's the thing about greens. Most greens are gonna bolt or eat, at the very least, taste really bitter when it gets super hot out. But there are a few greens that I'm willing to try in this hot, hot sun. I haven't tried greens in the heat of the summer yet. So this will be trial and error. If you have experience with some really hot, hardy greens or things like that, just let us know because I'm all ears. But we're gonna try some Swiss chard. I've heard some people have horrible luck with it in the heat, and some people have great luck with it in the heat. So we're gonna roll the dice and see what happens. Sometimes all you can do in your zone is just try, because what works for somebody doesn't work for you, and what works for you doesn't work for somebody else. So sometimes it's just trial and error. And then I have 2 types of spinach that aren't really spinach at all. I have Galilee spinach and red Malabar spinach. They're called spinach, but these are not actual true spinach varieties. Both of these are supposedly really amazing in the hot, hot sun. So we are gonna give these a try. And then I have 3 varieties of cucumber that are gonna do well in the hot and in the container. They're all container friendly. Space Master cucumber. And Bet Alpha cucumber. But also I have these Mexican sour gherkins These aren't the best for preserving. Like if you're gonna make pickles, this is why I have these. These are so much fun though. And Michaela, my youngest daughter, really just loves to pop these off of the vine and stick them in her mouth. And they are the cutest thing. They're really, really adorable. I love them. I love to look at them. It's hard. If you have any recipes that are good to like can with them, let me know. But I found when you can with them, they get a little mushy. But we have the others to can, so that's what those are for. And I actually have 2 varieties of tomatoes for the Greenstalk. This is Orange Hat. It's a miniature variety, and this is the Micro Tom. They are both from Baker Creek, and they are little bitty container tomatoes. And I have grown these in the windowsill before, and they are adorable. And they make these little bitty tomatoes. They're actually bigger than like a spoon tomato, but the plants are really compact. So these will be great for the Greenstalk. And again, I've got more basil. And then we have 3 varieties of eggplant. Eggplant loves, loves, loves the hot, hot sun. So we have the Thai green frog fingers, Rosa Bianca eggplant, and then we have Listata di Gandia eggplant. So these all looked fun. They were more compact varieties. So we are gonna give these a try. Then I've got 2, well, technically I have 3 of the leaf 7-tier planters, but 2 of them that are mine. The pink one is off limits to me. It's my girls. I'll have Taylor pop on and explain what they're doing with it. But 2 of these I'm gonna dedicate solely to beans because we eat a lot of green beans and beans do amazing in the Greenstalks. We've had a lot of luck. And so one entire 7-tier Greenstalk we're gonna devote to like green type beans, snapping beans. And so I've got contender beans, green blazed bush beans, Cantari beans, Kalima beans, Roma 2 bush beans, rattlesnake snap beans, jade bush beans, and these are really pretty, red swan bush beans. Basically, I went through my seeds and I pulled out what I had just a few of that I wanted to go ahead and get through and use, and these are all really amazing varieties. So I'm excited about having a whole tower, and pretty much I'm gonna do 1 variety per tier, or maybe if I don't have quite enough, I might have 2 varieties in a tier. I said I was gonna devote 2 of my things to beans. So the other 7-tiered stalk, I have 2 different types of beans. On the bottom 2 tiers, I'm gonna grow edamame. We really like edamame, especially steamed. We have a Japanese restaurant in town that steams the edamame and brings it out, and it is delicious. So we're gonna try that. And then one of my very favorites, we have pink eye purple hull peas. And we are going to fill the rest of the Greenstalk with the pink eye purple hull peas. This is a bushing variety. There is a vining variety, but we're doing all bush beans here. And these are cowpeas. They're not actually peas, they're beans, but peas don't do really well in the hot, but these are not technically peas. So they are called cowpeas, but they are really prolific in the hot, hot summer sun. And these are really nostalgic for me. This is what my grandparents grew scads of, and every time I would go to my grandparents' house, we would shell peas all the time. We would sit in front of Wheel of Fortune and we would just shell peas all day long, and then we would get to eat them. And this is just the taste of memories to me. I love it so much. If you have something that is the taste of memories for you, that you always grow, not because it's like the most prolific or because it's like the best, but it's just, you just always grow because it's so nostalgic for you. What is that? That's purple hull peas for me. Like, I'm probably the only one in my family that just adores them, but we grow them because I have to have my purple hull peas. All right, so I said that the last pink Greenstalk is not mine. It is the girls. They split this one. We actually got this one for them last year. Lance's appendix burst last year in April, so we had a slow spring last year as well. But Lance's appendix burst, and the girls really picked up a ton of slack at home. They did so much, so many chores, took care of animals. They did so much while I was staying at the hospital with Lance. And so just to reward them last year, we got them their very own Greenstalk. And so it is theirs. They take care of it, and they can put whatever they want in it. And so this pink Greenstalk is theirs, and I'm gonna let Taylor tell you all about what they're putting in it. Michaela's not with us today. She is at a disaster preparedness 4-H camp. So that should be fun. She'll come home with like CPR certification and AED certification and like all sorts of disaster preparedness training. So that'll be a lot of fun. But today with me is Taylor. Dun, dun. So Taylor is going to tell us what all she's putting in. Michaela really is putting in flowers. Like she just loves to fill it with pretty things, which helps our pollination, right? Like we love to see the flowers.
I like flowers, but even more than that for this particular thing, because we have wildflowers all over the place. There's flowers everywhere, plus Michaela's gonna do that anyway. So I wanted to go and find like cooking herbs that I can actually put in food to do, except the lavender. That's not really, you don't really put that in like as much food. But we got at the garden center today, we found there's rosemary and then a few lavenders and some pineapple sage. And then we have a whole bunch of other seeds. So I've got a couple kinds of basil. I've got some thyme, some more sage. I've got a bunch of oregano that I'm hoping to use. And then these that primarily I want because I want to be able to cook with them. And they're useful for that.
What will you use the lavender for? Or do you just like the way it smells?
For my personal amusement.
For your personal amusement? Okay, fair enough.
Last year we did have a lot of success doing that. We normally it is a lot harder to keep flowers and things in the garden, but doing it in the Greenstalks, it was much lower maintenance. And so it was a lot easier for me, especially with school going on. I've had a pretty busy school year. I've been able to take care of them a lot better, and we had a lot more stuff end up coming out of it.
Yeah, we had pretty big harvests, and this year we're adding a few more because Grandma and Poppy are giving us their old ones. So I expect that we can make this work, even though we're getting a late start. And you saw, like last year, if you were part of our gardening season, it was hard. We had a massive garden. We had like a 4,000 square foot garden. And last year I hurt my wrist and Lance went into the hospital, and we really decided, okay, what is reasonable for us and what do we have to do? And last year, one of the hard choices that we made was just to go full on container garden. And I thought we would go back to the big garden this year, but actually it was so successful. I think we're gonna double down on the container garden. And we're doing the Greenstalks this year, but I think that the following year we're gonna even add some more types of containers so that we can grow like full tomatoes and some potatoes and things like that. So I am excited about being able to add to the container garden because, truth be told, a lot of my help with the girls is about to fleetly fly away. You know, I only have a few years left with this one, and then the next one is going to be gone. And the older they get, the busier they are, and the less it's feasible for us to get up every day and be in the garden every morning. And we're going and going and going, and it just made more sense for our family. And sometimes you have to do what's best. And really, like I said, this has not even been. It's been a lot less work, a lot less input, and it has been just as prolific as the big, massive garden. So I think this is a good choice for us. I think this is the best choice for our family right now. Anyway, we're so glad to be back with y'all. And if you're new here, welcome. Hello. We're so glad to have you. I know that there are a ton of new people. We just passed, 75,000 subscribers. So kind of blown away about that. We are so excited. And if you're new here, we tackle all sorts of things. We do gardening and chickens and bunnies, and we do lots of home preservation, fresh milled flour, just all things homestead. We are going to have some series coming up on sewing, some basic sewing techniques and things. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you are interested in the blog, you can go over to rootsuphomestead.com and check out our blog. And yeah, we are so thankful to have you along the journey. Share what you're planting. We love the comments section, y'all. We have a vibrant community. We have some really super amazing people in our community, and we love to hear from you. And sometimes we're not able to write back, but we really make our best effort to write back. And if not, sometimes that's the great thing about the community is people ask questions, people answer each other. It's wonderful. So if you want to talk about your gardening woes or your excitement to start now mid-season, tell us what point in your garden are you? What are you starting? What are you not starting? What disasters have you had so far? What successes have you had so far? We want to hear it all. And hopefully when Michaela gets back, she can introduce you to her baby bunnies because they are adorable and she will want to show them to you. So anyway, y'all have a wonderful day.